whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Paororo, te reo o Taringa, i runga I te reo hene tūpari māwawa e rere nei ki ngā riu o te motu. O tira o te ao, anei māua ko Erica e mihi nei kia koutou atu I te pokapū o Taringa. Ko nei te wānanga o te aroa I te piki taone bustling metropolis o Te Awa Mutu. Was that a bomb?
I don't know what it was. It was my impersonation of snow anyway.
Yeah. E pērā rawa tō māua aroha kia koe hoa kua whakataru nā Erica iaia anō nei ko koe. Koe no, tēnā koutou e te iwi. Well, pewhi ana koe e te tuahine?
E tino pai ana. Kua harikoa o ku piropiro.
Rawe. E ne rawe tō āhua I te poraka hou.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with these new poraka.
Yes. So we've got some new poraka e te iwi. Sorry about it, you fellas don't get one.
They're exclusive.
They are exclusive to the Taringa team.
Yeah.
Aye, but maybe, just maybe, a tōna wā ka release.
Who knows?
Ka releasingia e te waikahua waikatoru. Who knows? Why not? There was a kiwaha there, waikahua waikatoru. We've talked about that one.
We have talked about that one.
Anei te kiwaha o tērā. Tuhia ki tō rai. I better tuhia to my rai.
He needs to tuhia
Yeah.
ki tōna rai.
Yes, tuhia ki tōku rai. Gad. Tuhia ki tō rai. Don't you forget it. Write it on your forehead.
Write it on your forehead.
Koina te kiwaha.
Yeah,
Don't
quite
you
a
forget
literal one, eh?
It is, yeah. Tuhia ki tō rai.
Aye.
Write it on your forehead, but don't you forget it.
Yeah.
Like, embed it into your memory.
28th of August is my birthday. Tuhia ki tō rai.
Yeah. Tika. Tika rawa atu. That's a good one, actually. Very good example there, Erica. Te puaheiri, next time we're going out, it's your haute, bro. Tuhia ki tō rai.
Tuhia ki tō rai.
Yeah. No, you've been giving someone a lesson in something and then, yeah, wā kau e mahunga wai. Tuhia ki tō rai.
Oh, mahunga wai.
Yeah.
What's that?
Sort of like, but that's see.
Oh, okay. Does it have a relation to makere?
Yeah, he ngaro makere is probably more forgetful than mahunga wai, which can be a bit ditzy.
Okay.
And not so positive.
Oh,
Yeah.
not so positive. Okay.
You know, there are people that have those phases of being a mahunga wai, and then some people are just ditzy. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not actually, no, it's not even negative, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are they perceived to be, or do they occur to us as being ditzy, but really they're not? Anyway.
Yeah, never know.
Koe anō, koe nā te kiwaha e te iwi, tuhia ki tō rai.
Me whakarongo pi kari kari.
Kaya koe tā tāua kaupapa ne tuhine, because we're on Tikanga 101.
Aye.
Tikanga for
Tahi,
dummies.
kore, tahi.
You're not really dummies, okay? You know what I mean. So Tikanga 101. Hea tā tātou wānanga I tēnei rā.
Ko te kaupapa o tēnei wānanga, naming. Naming people, things, maybe places, I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Wā, e tika tae I te me kaupapa nui tērā. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Tika tae. O se he mea nui te wānanga ki te kōrero mo te whakaingoa I te tangata. Yeah. Well, why don't you share first? What do you know about naming from a te ao Māori perspective?
Oh my goodness, it's so hard. Oh man. So as everybody knows, I recently had a pēpi and her name is Maya. And I think every parent must have gone through this. It's like as soon as you find out you're having a baby, you're just constantly thinking, what is their name going to be? And it's just the hardest decision to make because like
Kia ora.
me and my partner especially, like we couldn't agree on anything. And then so Maya, it's just a word that I really liked back from when we were trying to come up with the strategy for Te Matatini's 10-year plan.
Oh, yeah.
There was a team of us who'd been tasked with making it look pretty much. And we had a few different concepts, and my year was part of one of the names for one of the concepts. Kioku Whakaro, the meaning behind it was in relation to the rising of the sun coming to the surface or emerging sun. I've always thought since then, that's really nice. Like, I really like that, and it sort of always stuck with me. Anyway, I told my partner that. He was like, nah, I don't like it. But we knew we wanted to have some sort of tupuna name in her name. And he wanted us to ask a few of my whanaunga from down the coast for a name, which was cool. But then coronavirus happened, and then we didn't go back there for ages, or for the whole time that I was hapu pretty much. And I didn't want to just message someone on Facebook or whatever, I think it needed to be a face-to-face conversation. And then she was born, and I was like, nope, her name's Maia. You can decide on the middle name. And so he basically liked two names from my direct whakapapa, and the two names that he liked in particular were Henetera and Te Ruatarehu, who are both ancestors of mine, and also names at our marae, so our wharekai and the kōhanga. And he picked Henetera, and now that's her name.
Kia ora.
But yeah, it was so hard. So hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought process between the parents. And, i ngā wā mua, it was something that the hapu would have had input into. Well, definitely the tūpuna.
Yeah.
So when I say tūpuna, meaning the grandparents.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring that up, because my koro, he named me and then my next sibling. And then, I know lots of people who have been named by their grandparents.
We have a tikanga in our whānau, and it's sort of, we don't adhere to it, but if it was a boy, I would go to the male side.
Oh, okay.
They'd get the first dibs, I guess,
on
the name. Kei ara tau te mana ki te whakaingoa I te pēpi, say the tāne, te taha tāne, te matua tāne. And if it was a girl, it would be te matua wahine. So it would come to the mother's line or the mother's side.
That makes sense, though.
Now, I'm reminded of my mother, ko te ingoa taku māma, ko tana ingoa Pāke, ko Yvonne, but e ingoa Māori tōna. And I roto I tō mātou whānau, even though your Christian name is your first name, I roto I a mātou, my Pākehā name, they'd say, what's your Pākehā name? My nan used to ask me, what's your Pākehā name? Oh, Francis. Ooh. And koutou, that was actually my first name for a long while, but my kuia koraua never ever called me by that name. They always called me by my Māori name, Paraone, which is a tupuna name.
Yeah.
Was Paraone Tunho mai te ururangi. Marahi Paraone Tunho mai te ururangi got split in three, and I got Paraone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back to my mother, my grandparents had an arranged marriage.
Taumau.
Yeah, it was taumau, and ko kōrero tātai mo te taumau. So ka moi rāua, ka hapu taku kuia, and my mother was born. Now, the name sort of went to my nan's side.
Yeah.
But there was a feeling, because my nan was betrothed from Ngāti Maniapoto to my kraua, that to Raukawa, that the name should come from our side. So what happened was, Nana's cousin, Hinare Tūwhāngai, he was asked to name my mother.
Oh, okay.
So he named my
mother.
Was
he sort of neutral?
These are things that come out. He was actually he was farming not far from where my kuia and kraua lived. And him and my grandfather ended up becoming good friends. So anyway, so he was asked to name my mother, and he went back on the Raukawa side and gave my mother a name of my grandfather's side.
Oh.
But now I've come to see that the name has a link back to Ngāti Maniapoto anyway.
Yeah.
So they sort of not overcame that tikanga. I guess it was, and not compromised either. I guess it was a compliment, or they found some flexibility in there.
Yeah.
That the name went back to Maniapoto, to my nan's cousin. He gave the name. He still brought it back to my kraua's side, but because he gave the name, it was like it was coming from nan's whānau.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of tikanga, and, that's why you and your tāne would have put lots of thought. It's your tūpuna memory that comes out.
Yeah.
So not only as parents, but kei roto I o kōrua ngākau, I o kōrua puku, e mea na, hea te ingoa tika,
Yeah, and there are heaps of names. There's heaps of names that I liked from within my whakapapa, but I don't necessarily know what that person might have been like, you know? And I think that's something else that comes into consideration, like was that tipuna a cool person?
Yeah.
And I don't want to potentially name my child after someone that wasn't a good role model.
Yeah, no, tika tau. And the other side too is, are you going to look after that name? So I remember my auntie saying to me, me tūpato, when you're speaking to children with tupuna names, you've given them the name of your tupuna. And you are the parent, but you've put a tupuna name on them.
Yeah.
And I roto i te whakaaro Māori, kua whakaingoa koe i tērā pēpi, tamāhine, tamaiti rānei ki te ingoa tō tupuna.
Yeah.
Kia tūpato koe. How you speak to them. It's not saying you can't discipline them and things like that, but be careful. So koenei ngā whakaaro. And for that reason, some people choose a new name, like he ingoa Māori tonu. Because, te muti ngeho, most names were new.
Yeah.
And like our tupuna i ngā wāmua, a lot of them were named after events.
Yes, events.
Yeah, things that happen. And
what the weather may have been doing at the time they were born.
One of my cousins, i whāngai i tētahi tamaiti, and say same-sex relationship, they're both female, and they asked me to name their son, and she said, we want a new name because they didn't want to...
Right.
Yeah.
Have those...
I wouldn't call it baggage, maybe responsibility to the name of that tupuna, to the mana, but they still wanted a Māori name. Yeah, so I gave them a name based on, because they were waiting for such a long time for this boy to be born. Yeah, I named him Ngā Rangiroa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was about the long days and waiting, and rangi can also be the seed of your emotions, so it was about the emotions they were feeling.
Yeah.
So, kei reira etahi mea ki te whakaingoa koe.
Down the coast, like there's heaps of names that were named, actually everywhere, that were named after events, and like there's heaps of people who have like mate something or mamai that may be in reference to like influenza and that.
Yeah.
But I recently found out that there's like a whole lot of people named after the big drowning that happened on the Motu River.
Aye.
Yeah, and so I was talking to an auntie of mine, and one of my great-grandfathers, his name was Pita Hauraki, but he also got referred to as Taporena. And I was like, like tarpaulin.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, well, it was another word for oilskin. So he apparently...
Well, that's what the tarpaulins are made out of.
Yeah.
Oilskin.
So he found one of the bodies of the children that drowned on the waka. Yeah. And he covered the person with his oilskin. And so his name got changed to Taporena.
Aye.
Yeah, and then I found out there's a whole lot of whānau who are named after like a boat that found a few of the people. And then the event also happened in August, so there's a whole whānau of Augusts. And there's a whole whānau of butlers that I think might have been the name of the captain or the name of the boat. Not too sure. But yeah, I think knowing those sort of things gives so much more meaning.
I was at a hui yesterday, and there was Raikawa, Waikato Tainui, and Tūwhare Toa in the presence of Te Ariki Tumu Te Heuheu, and we were having a wānanga about a name, and it was a name that is going to be put onto a kawenata, a covenant between those three iwi and the kawanatanga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of wānanga leading up to and whakaaro, because the name really, it's the mana of that kaupapa or person, and there's a wairua that comes with the name as well. Yeah,
I fully believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are all the things that are taken into account when our tūpuna kuia korau we're naming babies and thinking about appropriate names. We got one, i roto i tō mātou hapu. One of my cousins was given a tupuna name and he got sick. And kaumātua turned up, didn't know that they had put this tupuna name on the baby. Anyway, he came to do a karakia on the pēpi, and he asked, ko ai te ingoa o te pēpi nei, o te tamaiti? And when they told him, he said, kei te he te rā ingoa. Take that name off, or take the name off him. So he removed the name, he took the name off and named him something else, and then i o rāke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, there was nothing wrong with the tupuna, the name, but it wasn't fitting for that child.
Yeah.
Because someone else has got that name now. Yeah. And even, koutou e whakarongo ana is another thing you need to be careful of, is when you're naming them after somebody, don't forget that a lot of the time, mehe ingoa Māori, that person you're naming them after, that wasn't their name to begin with.
Yeah.
It's another thing. And, it's happened i roto I tō mātou hapu, he pērā no. A little bit different, but there's been instances of whānau getting angry, jealous, because someone has taken one of the names from their line.
Yeah.
But they didn't realise that name they took, if they might have been, saying, oh, well, that was one of our favourite uncles.
Yeah.
Or something, I roto I te whānau, but it's actually that name is further back.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing.
Yeah, that resonates with me because even I was thinking if I was to use my mum's real name, she was named after someone from a different whānau. And then I don't know what that one was like too. So yeah, and then I was thinking, well, if I was to use that name, then I'd really be naming it after the original and not my mum.
Yeah.
People that you know who have been named after people, do they do what lots of people seem to do down the coast, is nickname them the same nickname too?
Good question. Yep. Yeah, one of my cousins has got the name of my koroua. And yeah, there's the odd few I roto I tō mātou whānau, which we'll call him by what everyone knew my koroua as. So his name's Te Pihere, and we'll get cheeky and call him Beazle. Yeah. Yeah, so my mum, her nickname is Kui, and that was the nickname of the person she was named after too. And then I know another whanaunga from down the coast, and his name is Dobby, and I only just realised 2 years ago, because my koro, everyone used to call him Papa Dobby, and his real name is Tawhai, and I only just realised that Dobby's real name is Tawhai too. Because they gave him that nickname.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about is to use the whole name of a person. But in reality, there's a lot of times our old people would shorten their name.
Yeah.
So Paraone is my name. There are lots of times I'd be referred to as E Para.
E Para.
Yeah. And if you look through history, he pērā no ngā tūpuna, so there's an exchange between King Pōtatau before he was king, Pōtatau and Te Rauparaha. And he refers to Te Rauparaha as Raha.
Oh,
so
Raha.
E Raha.
E Raha.
And Raha refers to him E Pō. Yeah, and the same with exchange between Governor Grey and Pōtatau when he was king, and he refers to him as Pō.
Oh, wow. Coming from Governor Grey.
And then, Pōtatau had two names, Pōtatau
and Matutaira.
And Te Whero.
Matutaira, is that Tawhia?
Yeah, his first name was Tūkāroto. So King Tawhia we're talking about, the second Māori monarch. So he was known as Tūkāroto.
I know someone called that.
When he was still in Te Kōpū o Tana Whaia, or Whakawhi or Whakawi rangi, Ngāpuhi had invaded the pā here at Mātakitaki, and his mother was hapu at the time. So Tūkāroto means to stand and be resolute within. And then they left that pā because the pā fell to Ngāpuhi, and it was the first time Waikato and Ngaiwi o Konei, first time we'd seen guns.
Yeah.
They went down into Ngāti Maniapoto, and he was born there, and he was given the name Tūkāroto. And then later on he was baptised and he was renamed. So he got Matutaira.
Oh, okay.
It's a biblical name, which a lot of our tupuna that they got given a Christian name from the Bible. That's where you get the name Christian name.
Right.
So Matutaira means Methuselah.
Oh.
And then he went to Taranaki. When he was down in Taranaki, he was known more as a prophet. And Te Ua Haumene, the founder of the Paimārire faith, renamed him a haere koe Tawhia Te Ao, go in and circle the world.
Tawhia Te Ao,
yeah,
that's
Tawhia
cool.
Te Ao, and got cut short to Tawhiao. And then in the later stages of his life, he was deified. People were sort of praying to him like he was a god, which he didn't like. And he said something like, haere kene ko taku in ko te a.
Okay.
Don't call me those names, call me Mr. A. Yeah, named the nameless one because he was humbling himself.
Yeah.
And it's the same with other tūpuna i roto i te ao Māori. They'd be known by one name in one period of their life, and then they take on another name.
Yeah.
He pērā anō.
Man, do you reckon that's how our history sort of gets quite twisted? You know, there's so many variations because there's so many different names.
I don't know about twisted, but people sometimes will get mixed up with the whakapapa and the kōrero because there might be a few tupuna sort of around the same time we share a name. Secondly, the name changes.
Yeah.
I roto i te hitoria, me rāhua tanga katoa. And even that baptism, as I know i roto i te hāhi ringatu, they have the tūā. Koina te kupu e tūā, but tūā is an older word. Traditionally, ko tērā te karakia hei whakau i te ingo o te pēpi.
Okay.
So you might actually have the christening or they're baptised.
Yeah.
I taku mōhio i ngā wāmua, they'd wait till the pito fell off.
Ah, yeah.
And that's when there'd be
a bit of a tohi.
A tohi, but they may not have a name yet. Or a part of the tohi ceremony is the tūā, which is the confirming of the name of the child. Yeah, koina te tūā.
Tūā.
Yeah, he tūā, which means the name.
Yeah.
And then there were times through their life that they might shed that name and they might rename themselves something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily someone else named them something, but they'll say, from now on, this is my name because this has happened. Yeah, in relation to an event.
Yeah. So I noticed quite a lot of people who have been through Te Panekiritanga come out afterwards with these really flash names.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there some sort of naming ceremony that you guys have? Or
No, a lot of the people that got names, they didn't have a ingoa Māori.
Oh, yeah.
Nō reira, te nui ngō te wā ko wharehui rāua ko Timosi and sometimes Po. And because they didn't have a te reo name, wharehui mostly would name them, and it was based on their wairua, their characteristics, tō rātou āhuatanga i roto i te panekiretanga.
Yeah.
And that's how they got their names.
Yeah.
And some of them have chosen to hold on to them.
That's cool.
And much like others, I think it was a tradition started when Timoti was at te whare wānanga Waikato way back, and there's lots of people i ēnei rā, and I won't say who they are, because mā rātou ke o rātou ingoa e kōrero, but they had a ingoa Pākehā, and then Timoti called them something else, not called them something else, gave them a te reo name, but just in conversation, like it happened really naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taku hoa Leon, te heketu. So that's us koina taningoa Māori, ko te heketu. But when he was in te panekiretanga, they affectionately called him te pairi. So there was a time, lots of people were calling him te pairi, because he reminded them of one of tētahi, and we've talked about te pairi tūtarangi on Taringa. His stature reminded them of te pairi.
Yeah.
Tētahi o nā korau o tūhoi. And te pairi tūtarangi taught he te kia te kani te ua.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's another kōrero. But then some things happened, and te panekiretanga and wharehuia stood up and said that we should be calling him te heketu instead of te pairi.
Oh.
Yes, but same here, it was an affectionate thing. Wharehuia, like even though I was Paraone, sometimes he'd call me Francis.
Yeah.
And they used to get cheeky, they called me Fred because I had this big dreadlock. So they were talking about Fred Dag. But then he had a name for me, te Pārairoa.
Okay.
And so tērā, and te kura taiaho, and me whakarongo ana koe hoa, mohe kare koe a wanga ki ene kōrero. When we went to Kaolawe in Hawaii with Rangi Mātāmua, it was myself, te kura, Rangi Mātāmua, Mataia, and Tūki te Rangi. We took part in this ritual ceremony early in the morning where we had to dive under the water. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then mātou katoa, it was about 40-50 of us. Like kirikau as, like naked as.
I've heard.
Yeah, karakia come out, and then we went and had a wānanga by the fire back at our camp. And I rongo ia I te wairua, and he wanted to go back with another name. He wanted to shed his old name.
Cool.
And he asked us to name him.
Yeah.
So that was part of that. Yeah, so now every time I see him or say his name, I'm reminded of that time we had. There was a very special time.
Yeah.
And he got the name Te Kura Taiaho. Now, I've pulled a few people up because both on social media and in person when they've said to me, he'll always be Anaru to me. And like, well, kei te takahi koe I tana mana. Kei te takahi koe I tana mana, kei te takahi koe I te mana o tērā ingoa. Kei te tangata tōna mana ki tōna ingoa. And I've pulled people up and said, no, you call him what his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you like it if somebody called you what you aren't?
Yeah.
It's the same sort of a thing.
Yeah, I've got a cousin, and his nickname is Mouse. And maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, he made it known to everybody that no, I do not want anybody to call me that now. Call me by my real name.
Yeah. Same with my auntie. So, taku auntie I've talked about a lot. Te uru whakarewa. Growing up, we all called her Auntie Fatty. That was her name. It was Auntie Fatty. Everybody called her Fatty, Auntie Fatty, and her cousins, and my mum called her Fatty. It wasn't Fatty, it was Fatty.
Fatty.
Auntie Fatty. Yeah, and then I got to a point, maybe I was at intermediate, and she told everybody that we're not to call her that anymore, that her name was Te uru whakarewa.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Yeah, koina etahi āhuatanga.
How many babies or people have you named?
Not that many. Next minute even goes, hey, you named our baby. A few, and this is something for kia koutou, be careful when you ask somebody. It's not a pick and choose.
And that was I had reservations around asking someone else for a name, because what if they came up with something I didn't like and then, I had to use it?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, offend them by not using it.
Don't ask at all, maybe. You have to be fully trusting in that person, and I think those people that did ask me to name their children, they trusted me and they trusted that I would give, and sometimes it was a tupuna name and sometimes it was a new name. And koina tētai tikanga, and I've said that to a few people actually, e tai he whanaunga, when they've said, can you suggest a name?
Suggest.
Yeah, I'm like, wait on.
It might use it, it might not.
Am I going to give you this name to use, or, not to use,
just
but
give
you this name, because you're giving it in love.
Yeah.
He koha tērā. But I do understand as well, coming from the parents' angle. We had an interesting thing. I've got 2 nieces, so these are the children of my sisters. My nan named everybody. All my nieces and nephews, they've got a name from my kuia. So that my sister or whoever would have a baby, and then maybe that day, mum would get a ring, my mum, and then mum would ring my nana, and then nana would give a name.
Wow, so not even in the lead up, hey nan, kei te hapu.
No. Yeah, and then nana would give a name.
True.
And it would be off both sides, so either off the Maneopoto or Raukawa side. And anyway, one of my nieces, Rangipurei, so these 2 sisters, she is the daughter of the younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're both older than me, but one's younger than the other.
Yeah.
So that was the name of my kuia, Tana Mama, Kuina Tana Mama. Well, she named her, and then my other sister was hapu at the same time. Well, my kuia said to me, after she'd given that name, later on, we were having a kōrero, and my kuia said to me that it was actually my auntie, Te uru whakarewa, that suggested that name, and Nana said, he he pai tēnā ingoa. And so that became her name.
Yeah.
And then I te kōrero mao ko taka kuia, and I said, well, how te ingoa I whakaarotia e koe? And she had another name, Tangi Āmio. And I said, how tahua tērā ingoa? And Nana said to me, wow, mai e whuatu ki tō tuahine. And I said, I was like, I didn't say, I was thinking, why don't you tell her? And she said, your sisters, Miriam's going to have a girl as well. And you give her that name for her baby. And I was thinking, why doesn't Nana tell her herself? Well, my kuia died. So she died between those 2. Yeah. And there's only a couple of, they're going to be listening going, hey uncle, you don't even know our birthdays when they are. But it was a very short time between them both, but Nana died. So that niece of ours, Tangi Āmio, she was the last one named by our Nana. And but they're all special, but I think it's special that Nana gave that name before she went.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So there's lots of considerations you need to take on board.
Yeah, it's going to stick with them. Well, it might not. They might change their name.
And if you want a new name, I roto I te reo, don't go on Google Translate. Some people are doing that. Consult with somebody. Kauehare ki Google Translate. Kia tūpato, if we're going to use somebody's name, that they're okay with it. Me ata whakaaro ki ngā ingoa tūpuna. I'm not saying don't, but, be respectful. And that you're going to nurture what the name brings.
Yeah. I feel like there's so much more.
I think in the next wāhanga about naming, we'll talk about the naming of whare, like objects. So
objects,
whare, taonga.
At the Wairanga, how all of the hui rooms are named.
Yep.
I think there's a cool
Rooms,
whakaroa behind that.
Even like heitiki.
Yes.
Nā hui and I started gifting heitiki, and I'm naming those after tupuna.
Yeah.
But the names of our tupuna that I've been using have links to the person that I'm gifting them to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not so well-known names amongst the rest of the whānau.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's keeping that kōrero alive, eh?
Absolutely. That's going to be a keepsake, tērā taonga that they'll hand down. I roto i te whānau. Ka kōrero tātou mō tērā te wāhanga tuarua.
Te wāhanga tuarua.
But there's heaps of things we talked about. Tuhia ki o koutou rai. And there may be some pātai that come out of this putanga o Taringa i tēnei rā. Hoi no, ko te waiata o te wiki nai nei.
I ngā mō kai kiri e.
I ngā mō kai kiri e. Yep. Whakarongo mai. Now that waiata, there's a bit of a sad story behind it because it was actually a waiata that was, to my knowledge, sung at Mautini, so Mount Eden, to the men that would not conscript to go to World War One.
So did they get taken away to prison?
They got imprisoned because they wouldn't go haere ki te whawhai. So no tērā wā te waiata. It's a bit more of a happy, jovial song, but really it's a bit more of a waiata aroha, of longing. Yeah.
We sort of talked about this back on our Anzac special from last year, because quite a few of those songs that we talked about then are sung jovially today, but had really meaningful kind of solemn kaupapa behind them. Yeah.
You see it too in the performance, like if you watch some of these black and white ones. It's not like they're singing a dirge or if you know, way at the tangi, but they're not all happy chappy.
Yeah.
You know, hoi anō, pēnā anō I te ingoa, of the name and the way te whakapapa and say the names. Hei, koe nā te wāhanga tuatai e te iwi. O tēnei te whakaingoa, we talked about lots I roto I tēnā wānanga. Kōrero whakamutu ngā utuhine?
Carl.
Lots to think about.
Lots to think about.
And I'm, you know, if I'm thinking, I didn't talk about this.
There's so much that we can still talk about.
Then even some of the other tikanga to do with
scratch the surface there.
E rere ana, you remember that saying? E rere ana I te kahu o te wai. It's on the surface of the water.
Tuhia
ki tōrai. Tuhia ki tōrai. So the kahu is the skin of the water.
Yeah.
It's the surface,
but
the skin on top. So you're only on top of the water. Te kahu o te wai.
Te kahu o te wai.
Engari he mōhiotanga tonu kei reira.
Yeah, definitely.
Harei te me ruku rawa. I ona wara. And sometimes you're looking for hohonutanga. Some places there's no hohonutanga. That's just how it is. Hoi anō e te iwi e mihi ana kia koutou. Hei kona.
Hei kona.
Ki o, whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing at the hooker force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo pi kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa. He mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, nā te māngai pāho I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe. Taringa, whakarongo mai.